I'm so done.
If you're watching this video, it means you've been selected as Freddy's newest security guard.
Hello?
We're going to have so much fun together.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, another horror film has rolled around into cinemas, and this one is based on an incredibly popular video game series. Or at least a popular video game series that came out about 10 years ago now? Takes that long to make films in Hollywood, I guess. But we have a movie, and it's called Five Nights at Freddy's. Josh Hutcherson plays a security guard named Mike, who, after countless issues with previous employment opportunities, is forced into taking an overnight security role at a dilapidated kids' funhouse/pizzeria. Needing the job to help look after his younger sister, Mike has no choice but to spend every night there, and soon discovers that there is more than meets the eye to the iconic animatronic puppets that come to life. And they're not happy. Having played the games a couple of times in my youth, I can confidently say that Five Nights at Freddy's didn't do it for me. I can't say that I was overly fussed about a feature-length movie of FNAF, or that's at least how the fans refer to it, Five Nights at Freddy's FNAF. Now, the concept of the game is actually pretty simple. You play as a security guard who sits at their desk monitoring the camera and take precautions when it seems like the puppets are getting close. And the big kicker is when you inevitably fail, a screaming puppet face jumps on the screen and you likely jump because of the loud and sudden noise. It's not scary, but it is easy to accomplish, and that is essentially the route that I was expecting the film to take. And they can't even get jump scares right. Five Nights at Freddy's is a ridiculously lazy attempt for a horror movie. One that, apart from production and character design, feels like it has a shockingly little amount of effort put in. So let's talk about positives first, and yeah, it's the production and character design like I mentioned. It's actually pretty good. It's impressive how they've been able to pull off bringing Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria to life, but more impressive the work that the Jim Henson Company has done to design the characters of Five Nights at Freddy's, to design these giant puppets and make them practical. They're real. And the fact that it wasn't crappy CGI of these characters roaming around, it does elevate the film somewhat for me, because it gives me the impression that this was made by people who do care. Lazy, but they care. Unfortunately though, that same level of care cannot be said for the writing. Wowzers, this was a terrible story. As I mentioned, the premise of the game is you're a security guard. You sit at your desk, you wait for creepy shit to happen. So of course, 70% of this movie should definitely focus on the domestic struggle with the family and Josh Hutcherson's character, who's wrestling with the guilt over having lost his brother when he was younger and the mystery that surrounds that, as well as having to bear the responsibility of looking after his younger sister and whether he can stomach that or whether he has to give her away to his not-so-nice aunt. How do those two things correlate? It's mind-numbingly dull to have to spend so much time with these characters when the whole point of going to see this film is that you want those moments from the game. You want to see that and how they bring that to life. They have no personality to them. The puppets have more personality than them. And they'll bite you in half. I mean, I've always liked Josh Hutcherson in the projects that he does. I think he's a very talented actor. It's just here, he brings nothing to the role that can help it stand out. His absence of charm and the role's mundane, unoriginal and static progression allow the runtime to bog itself down and seriously drag. The scares aren't even laughably enjoyable. This movie could have worked if it had found the right tone that another horror movie that came out earlier this year that had a bit of a odd, wacky premise, Threegan, if it had struck that tone, if it was in some way knowing that being scared and hunted by walking pizzeria puppets is stupid. It is. But you can poke fun of that. You can have fun with that. And director Tammi plays it all way too straight-laced. There's no hint of irony. Look, if you're a fan of the video games, and I know that there has been an extensive lore that has developed ever since the games, then maybe you might enjoy this. Look, maybe it is a film that is purely made for the fans. And so if you go out and see this and you enjoy it, awesome. I'm glad you had a great time. But if I'm looking at this as just a movie, as a constructed movie, it's very, very poor. Look, whether you have a good time with Five Nights at Freddy's will ultimately depend on your penchants for the video game. As someone with a less than limited knowledge, the sprinkling in of Easter eggs was certainly noticeable, but ultimately left me gravely disinterested. Scares, plot, and characters are assembled as lazily as possible, and not even solid production and character design can make this one a recommendation. Fans may refer to this series as FNAF, but for the film, I think I'll just stick with NAF. So I'm going to give Five Nights at Freddy's a 4 out of 10. Anyway guys, those are my thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's. Let me know, have you had a chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Still filming in my living room for the time being. The next few videos might be like this as well. But just please hold out. New set, new backdrop, it's coming. And my question to you, I would like to know, which horror game would you like to see have a feature film adaptation? But that's all the time we have for today. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button. And if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.